You're listening to Paranormal Optimist. My name is Stephanie, and in this podcast, we dissect paranormal topics from the perspective of skeptics, believers, and everyone in between. At the end, it's up to you to decide. Are you a paranormal optimist? Thanks for joining me for another episode of Paranormal Optimist. Before we dive into today's content, remember that you can always learn more about Paranormal Optimist just by checking out the episode description. There you'll find where to follow the show, all the places to listen, and a list of all the sources I cite in any given episode. I like to cite my sources, so check that out. If you have an episode suggestion, a paranormal story to share, or if you'd like to participate in a future episode, send me an email at paranormaloptimist@gmail.com. Since this episode is airing the week of Halloween, I thought we could take a step into spookiness today with a couple really interesting stories from friends of the show and friends of the me, Jessica and April. Before I started this podcast, I was in a kick where I thought a lot about this idea of why or how things can feel paranormal, even when we are pretty sure that nothing supernatural is going on. I don't know if you feel the same way about this, but for me, sometimes life is just weird. So weird that sometimes I question how it can possibly be this weird. But most of the time, it seems to stop just short of really being paranormal. It stops short of really making me believe anything more is going on. Sometimes things are just chaotic and upsetting, and maybe it would make us feel better if we could blame some supernatural force. I guess that's more comforting than just being powerless to the mundane nature of poor circumstances. We covered an idea like this when we talked about why Mothman always gets blamed for the tragedy of the Silver Bridge collapse in Point Pleasant in 1967. Last time, I also discussed how some people's fear over the size and proximity of Three Eye Atlas may have encouraged clickbait stories about an alien invasion as a coping mechanism. People are weird. We do weird things. We believe weird things. Another idea I hear a lot of discussion about when it comes to finding magic in the mundane is the topic of synchronicity. If you're not familiar with the term, I have a statement here taken directly from Psychology Today. Synchronicity is a phenomenon in which people interpret two separate and seemingly unrelated experiences as being meaningfully intertwined, even though there is no evidence that one led to the other or that the two events are linked in any other causal way. Though many people perceive signs or spiritual meaning in synchronistic events, most scientists believe that such events are more likely coincidences than only seem meaningful due to aspects of human thinking, such as confirmation bias. Synchronicity also involves the idea that anything typically perceived as coincidence is actually paranormal or has some hidden meaning. You dream about your friend, and then later that day you run into them. You have a song stuck in your head, and then you hear it play on the radio. Related to this example, actually, just a couple of weeks ago, I had a friend text me about a singer that we used to listen to all the time in college. We're talking 10 years ago now. And at that exact moment that I got the text message, one of those songs was already queued up for me and playing in Spotify for the first time in probably over a month. So yeah, it seems a little bit weird, right? So why do we call these events spiritual or paranormal? I'm not saying that nothing is ever supernatural. Otherwise, it would be pretty weird of me to be hosting a paranormal podcast. But why do we willingly go down this line of thought when we know deep down that it's probably not the case? Now, I do have to say, in moments of struggle, stress, and chaos, I really do find myself leaning into the comfort of synchronicity. I sometimes frame negative events in the positive as some sort of complex machination of the universe, instead of just a thing that kind of sucks. Maybe you've done this too. I mean, I had a terrible job that overworked me and undervalued me, but now I have a great job because I learned boundaries, I learned how to speak up, and I learned how to work the system. So the universe gave me that horrible experience so that I could get to and appreciate what came later. For some reason, a lot of us lean on this paranormal framing rather than acknowledging the consequences of our own actions, even when those actions are positive. There's also the reality that we have no control over most of what happens in life. Things like disease, natural disasters, or accidents do not occur because we have done something wrong. Usually they just happen, totally at random. And that terrifies us. Reframing these events, finding spiritual meaning in them, even if we have to invent it, is actually helpful to a lot of people. Even if the only real change that is actually happening is an internal altering of opinion and thought processes. Going back to Psychology Today, they offer an explanation regarding why we find patterns in the mundane. Experts theorize that from an evolutionary perspective, pattern recognition was likely beneficial for survival. Ancient human ancestors learned to predict possible threats. For instance, they may realize that predators appear at a particular time of day, so it's safest to stay hidden. Humans impose structure and meaning on their lives. If they come across two events that seem related, they might categorize them together, even if there is no objective relationship between the two. I, for one, think it's fascinating that we are evolutionarily wired to believe in the paranormal, if you interpret the information that way. If we find comfort in it, if we don't drag anyone else down, is it really so bad? The answer is probably no, but I also still need the receipts. I have the unfortunate mindset where I want to believe, but I also don't want to be wrong. So here I am at 7:01 a.m. on a Friday, researching synchronicity. So kind of along these lines, I have some stories today that just push that line of weird to the point of wonder. Our logic will tell us that these experiences were not supernatural, that they were the product of a perfectly normal set of circumstances. But sometimes, even when we know that something isn't paranormal, it still feels like it is. Enjoy.
So I am going to tell you the story of the time I met a vampire doctor. I know you know the story. I don't think April does.
Nope, my first time hearing it.
Beautiful story. So went to the hospital. Not a great experience, but that's not what I'm going to focus on. At the end of it, I was there for far too long, and a new doctor came in, and he was like, "Why are you still here?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And he was like, "Well, let's get you discharged." And I thought it was going to be like a nurse comes in and takes your IV out, and they give you papers and stuff. Well, he's like, "Oh, I can take your IV out for you." And I was like, "Cool. That's fine." So I wasn't like ready at that second, I guess. So I was kind of like shell shocked that he just like grabbed my arm, ungloved, no gloves. And he went to take the IV out. And you know how they put like their thumb over it when they pull it out and press?
Sure.
Yeah. So he's ungloved. This is very, very important. Barehanded. And he pulls the IV out, puts his thumb over it, and he waits a second. And when he pulls back, my vein like shot blood on him. A lot of it. And it was, I was distressed because, again, no gloves. And he's like, no big deal. And I was like, you need to wash your hands. That's all I could say to him. And
we live in a post-COVID world.
It was stressful. So then he's like, okay. And I was, now mind you, he also didn't have the bandage ready. He didn't have the wrap. He didn't have nothing. He literally, not even cotton over the IV. It was just literally his thumb. There's a lot of problems.
He was bleeding out.
He was so happy. No. So he's like, hold this. So then I hold my bloody arm. He's soaked in my blood at this point.
I forget how chaotic this story is.
It was all over. So he walks. Like, I was like, you need to go wash your hands. Like, I'm like, I got it. Go wash your hands. Go wash your hands. And he's like, haha, yep. And the way that this room was set up was like, it wasn't like an individual room. It was like, you know, they have the curtains. So I was like in the middle of the thing. And there wasn't like a sink in this section. or like their bathroom was all the way at like the end. So like it was just not right there. So he walks out of the curtain, walks around the corner, and he's back in under 20 seconds. And his hands are clean. And I was like, where to go? It was a lot of blood. It wasn't like, I'm sorry if it's gory, but it wasn't like a drop or two. It was like when he pulled up his thumb, it shot.
Maybe I should put a content warning on this episode.
Yeah, sorry. So it shot, and it was like literally on him. And so he comes back and he's got the supplies, meaning that he had time to go get the supplies and apparently wash his hands. But there was no sink right there at all for him to wash hands. And even if he wiped his hands on towels, it's not good. And you know how when you, like, if you bleed and you dry it off, you see like a stain like where it was? Well, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. It was, his hands looked clean.
So do you think he just licked the fingers like num num num?
So he's like, all right, let me see. So I picked up my thumb and he went to go put the Band-Aid on, and it just dribbled out. And so he's like, oh, and he just ungloved again, grabbed it and now he had a cotton ball this time, but he had like my hand, like my arm, so he had it on him again. My arm was like covered after this. It was horrible. And so I'm just like, I'm getting treated by a vampire. And so I'm trying not to freak out because I'm like, first off, I was there for like 7 hours. Ridiculous, because what I was there for should not have taken that long. And then the second thing was my phone had died. So it was a whole thing. So I was just losing my shit. It was like midnight. And he's like, you're bleeding a lot. And I'm like, like, just not okay at this point. And so finally wraps it up, and I looked at him, I'm like, you need to go wash your hands. And he's like, it's fine. And I was like, and like he walked away, and I got up and I walked out, and the way that he turned, he would have had to go into somebody else's room. There was no bathroom. It like sectioned off, like it was like a cube at the end. So like a U-shaped room. So you walk in and like there's like several curtains, and then at the other end there was a bathroom sink. So he walked to like the left where it U'd off, ended, meaning there was only other patient rooms, and the sink was at the other side. And then he wasn't there, so he either disappeared, doubt that, or he went into somebody else's room, either clean-handed because he's a vampire, or bloody, and went into somebody else's room with my blood all over him. And I went to the bathroom and washed up and left as fast as I could because it was fucking terrifying, and I hated every second of it.
And remind everybody, you were there for the overnight shift, right?
Yeah, no, he picked up. So, like I said, it was like midnight or 1 a.m. by this time. So, the daytime doctors left, and he's wearing all black also. But yeah, it's not like he had nothing to clean up with. I just still don't understand.
He was also thrilled to be covered in your blood.
He was way too happy about it, and like I was alarmed because I've never had somebody like do my IV without gloves.
Yeah, most doctors will want gloves on. Most of the time when you're even like touching a patient at all, you typically have like, you're supposed to wear gloves.
Because I worked in a hospital, like that story is horrifying for a number of reasons.
Yes, I hated all of it.
The first time, he didn't have a cotton ball?
No.
He just put his thumb on it?
He said,
that's insane.
He said, I can get you discharged. And I was like, cool. Thinking he's going to walk away, go print out my stuff, go grab the stuff to take out my IV. And he just walked over me and grabbed my arm. And I was like...
I thought he had a...
No. And he was like...
I didn't know that.
He like pulled that IV out and was like that. And it was like...
That's why I looked so baffled a second ago. I was like, wait, what? No, this time he had a cotton ball. I was like, what?
It's a weird story.
No.
It is a really weird story. Either a vampire doctor or a ghost doctor, because like he was...
Bad doctor.
Yeah, he could be real bad.
That was a thought that crossed my mind.
Was he wearing scrubs at least? Like you said he was wearing all black.
It was all black.
Yeah, I was thinking the whole time when you were describing it and said, "Oh yeah, he like no, he was
His
in."
name? Was it Dr. Acula?
I didn't look. I tried not to think about it. That was good.
That I was just like, oh, was it Halloween or like was it around Halloween? Did he just want like a really good costume, like a nurse splattered in blood? If he wasn't.
It was in October.
It's like, I just want somebody's blood on me so I can go to this Halloween party, which is also real bad, like really, really unsterile.
The hospital I worked, the doctors didn't wear black scrubs, but the transportation techs did.
Yeah, he's just like, I can do this job. No worries.
It was just a whole experience. Like I said, he just like grabbed my arm and went for it. And I was like, wow, buddy.
Give me that blood.
Pretty much. And I was like delirious at that point that I was just like, get it done. I want to be out. It was horrible. No, he actually, I know you said
that
maybe
sounds terrifying.
I mean, he might have been a bad doctor, but he was a really good bedside manner, probably because he wanted my blood. But he like legitimately like listened to me. He like helped me and did stuff compared to the other doctors. That's why it was a bad experience. But he was a vampire. I still to this day kind of believe that. And it was a whole thing.
Yeah. Or he just really liked blood. It's just like, well, he's in the medical field. He's in the right field if he wants to. Like,
he should know better than anyone how bad blood is.
Yeah.
That and like I said,
communicable diseases
I hope
or
you know
whatever,
what I'm saying.
bloodborne illnesses.
So like when you walked in, it was like a U shape of curtains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so, the bathroom was at this end. You walked in, you could turn like to the left and go to the bathroom or like the nurse's station. It was like a little area. It was like a not emergency treatment center. So and to the right, you had all like the U shape of trauma centers, I guess, or the beds and stuff like in the curtains. So when he left, he turned out of my room towards the dead end of room. So when I went out, he wasn't there, and I would have seen him walk by.
So you didn't notice him like licking his fingers like he had just had ribs or something at any?
He left so fast.
Because he turned to a bat and flew away.
Yeah, he just
obviously
he went through the vent.
So is it bad that I would feel better if he actually was a vampire instead of just a shit doctor?
I mean, yeah, he didn't kill you. He just like
the current state of the healthcare industry. A doctor who doesn't follow proper procedure for bloodborne illnesses, or a doctor who is a really good doctor who just happens to be a vampire.
I mean, yeah.
He didn't hurt you.
No.
Actually, you don't have to go into it, but from what else you told me about that visit, he was the nicest medical person
That's
you met
what I'm
that
saying.
day.
When he checked in at like, I think it was like 11 p.m. he checked in, which also checks out.
Yeah.
He checked in though, and he's like, oh, I'm taking over. He was the one that, because I was saying like I needed water, nobody would get me water.
Yeah.
I was trying to say like nothing else is being done. They had my CT results 3 hours before that, and they didn't tell me them.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. And he's like, "Why are you still here?" And I was like, "I don't know." It was just really crazy. And then the vampire was the nice one.
Well, I guess
at least you met a friendly vampire.
Yeah. I guess there's that. So I guess...
would he be friendly if it was out in the street?
Well, that's not where you met him, so you don't have to worry about that. The next person maybe did, because he didn't... If you were just an appetizer.
So I guess we'll leave it up to everybody else to decide. Was it a terrible doctor or a vampire? Or both, I guess.
Or a random person that walked in.
So what do we think about this one? What's the easiest explanation,
Vampire.
I guess? I don't
That's the most settling one to me. Honestly, that really is. So, like, I'll take the idea of a vampire. I'm assuming it's just a shit doctor, but I would prefer.
All right, so that's one example of something that felt paranormal, but probably wasn't, if we're being honest. And there's lots of stuff like that in the world. I mean, I already talked about things like synchronicity and stuff like that, and just like the background reasons why people do think things are paranormal. And it usually just boils down to not understanding the situation or not having enough information. But, sometimes things happen and they do be feeling real weird. So
Spooky.
I guess we can dive into another example of that.
Yeah, so mine is a lot less, it was a very short interaction, and actually I didn't directly interact with this person. It's just like sometimes you see something and it's like, wow, that person doesn't look like they belong in this world. So like, yeah, it's a very short thing. Like my dad and I were driving past a park like fairly late, and there was just a woman who was walking, and she didn't look like a normal human. Like I don't really even know how to because I couldn't really tell, I couldn't tell any features on her face. It was really weird. And she had clothes that don't look like clothes we wear nowadays. Like she was kind of wearing an old tattered looking dress and like a cloak type thing with the hood. Yeah, with like the hood up. And she was just kind of like slowly walking past a park. Now, granted, my dad and I were driving by in a car, and like she immediately caught my attention because she looked so different. And it was like the middle of the summer. It wasn't like around Halloween or anything, because you might see something like that if you're around Halloween parties or whatever. But like she just like kind of caught my attention, and she did not look like she belonged. She looked, I don't even know what she would be though. So I was staring at her and I was just like, oh, she like really freaked me out for some reason. Like I got like really bad vibes from her, and I kind of just was staring at her and I didn't say anything. But then my dad was like, what the heck was that? Like, so, and my dad doesn't like, I don't know, he doesn't really believe in spooky stuff or anything like that, but he was just kind of like, so I was very surprised that even he was just like, that was really weird. So
yeah, I think that adds to the story. Obviously listeners won't know, but Dad's a very level-headed person.
Yeah.
What color were the clothes she was wearing?
It was night, so it was kind of hard to tell. That was another weird thing. It was like 10:30 at night for some reason. So, and she was walking by like a dark park, so it was kind of creepy.
So if you would have to assign something to her, like what would you call her? Was she a ghost? Was she not a human?
She could have been maybe a ghost, or maybe, I don't know, Baba Yaga. Yeah, she was walking just very slowly.
Like slow motion slowly, or just slow?
Yeah, she wasn't moving like a human would. Like there was another person on the street who did not acknowledge her at all, by the way, but like they were not on the same part of the street as her, so like they were like normally jogging along. She was like, she just looked like she was moving very slowly and weird. I don't know. It was
really late.
But it also might have been that I was in a car, so she might have just been an old lady who looked kind of odd.
The other thing is, you said she was wearing like a cloak, like a hooded cloak.
Yeah.
See, what I see in my head is like ritual type of cloak, and I doubt that's what it is, but like,
I don't think so. It looks like it was a plain cloak, but it looked like it was an out of season cloak, which made it, because it was hot. I mean,
I like them. I'm just saying.
I have a couple of friends who wear cloaks, like even
yes, but our friends are weird.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're beautiful and wonderful, but I'm saying like, you don't.
Yeah, they look a lot more fashionable than most things do, I think, but
people in the wild wear cloaks.
Yeah. True. But yeah, it was a really weird experience. I don't know how else to describe it, but.
And then Jessica, did you say you had another one? If you're ready.
So the other possibly, or feels paranormal. What do we call
it?
Things that
feel paranormal.
Okay, things that feel paranormal.
Things that fear paranormal.
Fear paranormal.
Me, I fear the paranormal.
Things that feel paranormal.
Yeah, we don't have to label it either.
No, I just wanted to say it right. I guess this should be a disclaimer if little children are listening.
I don't know why they would be. Stop listening.
Oh, I was like, okay. I was ready to hit it. No, so, yeah, I guess little kids shouldn't be listening. But I was a kid that believed in Santa for a very, very long time. And it was because of my dad. I was the youngest in my family.
Wait. What do you mean believed? No, I'm just joking.
No. So I was like 12. I was in middle school.
Yeah, what do we think what do we think the most common age of stopping the belief in Santa is? 9?
9, 10.
10 at the oldest. I don't remember how old I was. Probably 8 or 9.
Were you in elementary school?
I don't remember.
I feel like that's right. I don't feel like many kids in...
Yeah, definitely elementary school, not middle school.
Yeah, no, it was just me. Yeah, somewhere in between.
April, did you ever believe in Santa Claus?
No.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm sorry.
Like I said before, my dad and mother are very practical people. Yeah. They also just don't believe in, I know a lot of people don't think of it like this, but they're like, yeah, that's untruthful. I'm not going to lie to you about it. I
do be getting that.
But like, they still were very good about like explaining to me like, yeah, we don't know everything in the world either though. So there could be magic. There could be other things that we don't understand.
They're open, not open.
Yeah, they're actually very open-minded to like factual things, I guess, but they're also very, they question everything.
They didn't want to tell you something
they want,
that they knew 100%.
Yeah.
That's when you phrase it that way, it's completely reasonable.
Yeah. And like, I had so many friends growing up who were devastated when they found out that it wasn't real.
Yeah.
So I know like a lot of kids who were devastated when they found out that it wasn't real. So like, they were like, we also don't want you to go through that because we went through it when we were So yeah,
I can see both sides.
Yeah.
So I think I feel like that's probably more common though, is to have like that younger age or not at all.
Yeah.
Like, other than like a preteen.
Yeah.
Still believing. So I was like 11 or so, and I had told my parents, this is in like October, November. I told my parents, I was like, I know he's not real. And my dad told me for the longest time that he worked with the real Santa Claus, and he worked at one of the big three, which if you don't know, Ford, GM, Chrysler. So he worked there, and he said that that's what Santa Claus did year round. Well,
he worked for the big three.
Well, he had to stay busy.
That's funny.
But like, I got to meet him every year. I met the real Santa every year, and this guy looked just like him. His name definitely wasn't Santa, but that's what people called him. Right. So he looks like him, acted like him, and he was like a professional at it. Like,
he was a professional Santa Claus.
Like, legit. Like,
I think there are a large number of professional Santa Clauses in the world.
But this guy worked at Ford, and he worked with my dad for a very long time. And so my dad told him that I was at the point in my life where I was starting not to believe. And now, mind you, I was the last kid. I was the only girl. I was a baby, you know. So my dad was like, not, she gotta believe for a long time. Which, kind of embarrassing, after that. But whatever. So, it was a few weeks after that, and he, like I said, he had told Santa that I didn't believe in him anymore. And my dad came home, and he had like a wrapped gift. And he goes, Santa told me to give this to you. This is November. This isn't like Christmas. It was pretty far before. And I was like, whatever, you work with a guy that looks like him. And he's like, he goes, I don't even know what's in there, so go ahead and open it. I want to see what he got you. And so I unwrapped it and I opened it. No joke. It was a peanut, like shell. Peanut, shell, like the whole thing, like intact.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I could explain that I just held it and I looked at it and it was perfect. There was no cracks. It wasn't anything. There was no...
Was it a real peanut?
Real.
Okay.
Like the whole, like in the shell. Like, the ones where you go to like the restaurants?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't cracked. It wasn't fixed. It was, this is something to this day I still don't understand. So I held it up and I was like, for real? And I shook it and it made like a weird sound. And I was like, what the hell is this? And my dad at this point is even confused because my dad didn't know what he got me. He just said, give this to Jess and she'll believe. Okay, so my dad's like, crack it, I guess. I had to break it, like snap it and open it, and like it wasn't an easy light break. It was like I had to actually open it. There was a necklace in there, a whole ass necklace, like a little gold chain with a little charm on it. How the fuck did he do it? Because,
how did he get it inside the peanut shell?
Yeah, because it wasn't glued. Like, I still have the shell. It's deteriorated pretty bad at this point. But I don't even know where the necklace of the charm is. I was more amazed at that shell. But that legitimately made me believe for a whole nother year that Santa was real. Because I was like, there's no fucking way.
That man wasn't Santa. He was a wizard.
He was a witch.
He was a nut wizard.
Nut wizard.
Oh, yeah. I, to this day, still don't understand.
I, to this day, still believe in Santa.
It made me question it. To be fair, what made me end up finding out was that my mom and dad forgot to fill stockings. And I woke up at like 6 and was like, hey, Mom, you forgot to fill them. She goes, shit. But that was the following year. So, I said, I believed for a whole nother year. But, yeah, that was embarrassing for a few reasons. But also, it was kind of sweet, I guess. Like, my dad wasn't a super sweet person. But him doing that and making sure that I had, tiniest bit of, childhood left. He held on to it for that another year. So, I still am, completely shell-shocked. That's the wrong term. I'm sorry.
Peanut shell-shocked.
Yes. So, I still don't know how he did it because it was a perfectly intact peanut shell. And I still don't know.
I wonder if he somehow,
I wonder if this is like a thing. Did you ever Google?
I don't want to destroy my childhood. No, I'm joking. No, I haven't. I should. Okay. I did not, but maybe I will.
Maybe off air I can Google it and see if it's like a thing.
I still... Like, it just doesn't make any type of sense.
I've never heard of it.
I haven't either.
This guy, like, he does, like, woodworking now. He retired and did woodworking and metalworking. Like, he makes stuff. So I'm assuming he did something. He did it, but this guy made it and did it himself. Like, this was something he did. And it was just, like I said, it was awesome. It was magical. Like, I was, like, even my mom and dad, my mom still doesn't understand it. My dad, I mean, till he passed away, it was like, don't know. He wouldn't tell me.
No, don't care.
Right. He's like, just believe. And I'm like, got it. And
that's really cool, though. That's
feels kind of paranormal.
Yeah. That sounds paranormal.
Santa might be a wizard.
Yep, he's a wizard.
Thanks again, and always, to April and Jessica for sharing their stories for the podcast. Do you have any stories like this? Stories that make you stop and wonder, what if? Stories that make you pause and question if there are things going on that you are just not noticing. A glitch in the Matrix, or just some crazy set of random circumstances that just feels a little too suspect to be normal. Thanks for tuning in to this Halloween edition of Paranormal Optimist. If you have a story you'd like to share, a suggestion for a future episode, or if you'd like to chat with me on the show about a paranormal topic, send me an email at paranormaloptimist@gmail.com. Have an idea for an interesting direction to take the show? Let me know. As always, you can take a look at the episode description to find all the places to follow and listen to Paranormal Optimist. You can also check out the sources I cited in today's episode. So, in case you forgot, I am Stephanie. I'm your researcher, writer, host, and I try to be a producer as well. It's a lot. All the music from today's episode came royalty-free from Purple Planet Music. Until next time, believe a little, doubt a lot, but never stop wondering.